Oh my goodness. We suck. I think gaming has become an integrated part of my life. Why are you in the corner? I think I really like the social aspect of it. I've met a ton of people on there, both the good and bad. I've seen gaming as a way to see how far I can push myself without my age restricting me.
Leanne's been gaming since she was 8, but like a lot of people, she really got into it during the pandemic.
I was so young during that time. Most of my friends didn't have access to social media where I could talk to them. So I really did turn to gaming to just look for that connection with people.
Soon, that hobby became an addiction.
Ooh, during that time, I might have averaged like 8 to 10 hours a day. I definitely found myself being closed off, so I would often just stay in my room and game. I wouldn't interact with my friends out of school or really my family either. So I would often find myself not wanting to go to school and instead just stay home and play games. Dude just got knifed. It was during the end of year 8 when my attendance rate dropped to like 64%, and that's when I realized, ooh, this is probably not the best idea.
Over the past 10 years, there's been a video game revolution. Since 2015, the industry has more than doubled in both money made and the number of players playing. Last year, almost 3.5 billion people were playing video games. In Australia, 92% of 5 to 24-year-olds played games. But for some, that time spent gaming is becoming a problem. In 2018, the World Health Organization listed gaming addiction as a mental health condition. And today, research estimates about 100,000 Aussie teenagers are clinically addicted to gaming. But experts reckon that number could be even higher.
The data that we have is based on surveys that we're giving out to the community or to online populations. And so we don't tap into the people who are the most severely affected by problem gaming. And this can include teenagers who have stopped going to school, they're spending all their time at home. They're like a hidden population, very hard to reach. So the problem may actually be bigger than what we think.
Daniel King is an associate professor of psychology at Flinders University. His research focuses on digital-based addiction.
So gaming behaviour falls along a spectrum where we recognise that most people are playing games in a very healthy way. It adds to their life, they get a lot of enjoyment out of it. Then we start to see people who are spending or starting to spend too much time involved in their gaming. And we might call this hazardous gaming, where there's risks associated with how much time they spend. A very small number of people, who we estimate are about 1% of the population, are meeting some of those addiction criteria.
Professor King says when it comes to addiction, it's not about the time spent playing. Instead, it's about the control the player has over their habit.
This is what we call the boundary with normality, when we're distinguishing between gaming that is fun and enjoyable and gaming that is starting to have problems for a person's life. So in terms of when we start to see gaming become a problem, it's when it's a person starting to over-prioritise gaming and doing it instead of the other things that they should be doing, and it's impacting on their life.
Hello and welcome to Good Games Spawn Point, the show for gamers by gamers. I'm Barjo.
There's so many benefits to playing video games. It's how I found my friends, you know, all the way through primary school and secondary school, and then through uni, and then in adult life. Some of my best moments in my life have been in a video game. This game has a lot of cats in it.
Stephen O'Donnell, who is better known as Barjo, used to be one of the hosts of Good Game on the ABC, and now is a full-time streamer.
This is worth everybody's time here on Twitch. What a joy to be able to experience a great game with friends and make friends while doing it. That's the key thing for me. It's always been about a community of some sort.
He says even though gaming is now his job, there have been times where he's taken it too far.
There has been moments where it's been a challenge, you know, and not just because my whole job has revolved around video games for 17 years. There have been times in my life where games have taken over and I've neglected more important things in my life, such as hanging out with my friends or partner or doing other work or just, you know, getting enough sleep. And I can't imagine how hard it must be for young people now, because when I was a kid, games weren't that great.
Video footage of them as well?
Dr. Kim Lee, a child and adolescent psychiatrist in Adelaide, has seen firsthand what this looks like.
Well, I've had people collapse from playing video games. I've seen people who have suffered medical episodes and collapsed, or suffered like a mini stroke. I'm seeing kids who are ignoring the urge to sleep, and then in the morning when their parents are waking them up, they just can't even shake them to get awake to go to school, and so they're missing out on school.
Over the last few years, the number of kids refusing to go to school has increased, and Dr. Lee says excessive gaming during the pandemic is one reason why. But it's also no surprise they got hooked in the first place.
Everyone needs to be aware that these are simply not just video games anymore. These are very sophisticated, highly polished games which are designed to keep people hooked, keep people engaged, keep people gaming every day.
One of the ways they do that is firstly by making them endless, so you can't actually reach a natural endpoint in the game and feel that you've got some satisfaction from that. The other way is through using what we call variable ratio rewards.
You've probably heard of these rewards. They're better known as loot boxes. Heaps of games have loot boxes, and they're a bit like a mystery box. Often they contain common or useless items within the game, but sometimes they can reward you with a super rare item, and it's all down to chance.
It feeds that type of, once again, gambling addiction where you reach the high of, will I get something special, and then the low of, no, I didn't.
Games are there to make money for the game publishers, and at the moment their model is free to play, to get people in the door and then keeping them there. So keeping them there with fresh, new, surprising, novelty things, and then using tactics called persuasive design.
Loot boxes are really just one small way that video games try and hook its players in. This 20-minute video on YouTube goes into detail about all the ways games try to make you spend money and lock you into their product.
Some of you will probably be slightly shocked by all the tricks I have listed here.
Bro, there are ways where you can stop the addiction. Definitely the one way I found is that I just made more plans with my friends. You want to kind of book out your time to just do the things that you enjoy doing in real life.
It sounds simple, but both the experts I spoke to said one of the first steps to break a gaming addiction is to take a break from the game itself. Schedule
a break of a week to 2 weeks to try to identify what it is that they're trying to get out of their gaming. How does it make you feel when you're not playing?
Then we start to look at what are their real goals, what are their values, what do they want to achieve in their life, and if the game isn't serving their goals, then we start to try to adjust their behaviours, try to have days off gaming, give them a break.
Research from the University of Adelaide and Flinders University has found that even just taking a weekend off gaming has helped gamers to stop thinking about the game as being an irreplaceable part of their life.
How I dealt with managing that personally was taking a break, taking a step back and looking at how many hours I was putting into a game instead of doing other things in my life. Uninstall it, It's hard to do, but it's the only thing that's helped me personally, is to actually just get away from it for a while and realize what else you can do with your time.
But experts say the responsibility shouldn't be just on the gamer.
I think games need to be redesigned to eliminate some of those what we call gambling mechanics in video games that keep us hooked. We want games to be healthy, to promote other activities other than gaming, and not just to try and keep people playing mindlessly.
Addressing problem gaming involves a lot of stakeholders. It involves the government in terms of having a health policy that acknowledges this issue and offers structured help for people. It's about having policies in e-safety to recognise that this is an important issue for parents and teachers, to have access to resources to combat problem gaming.
The government should definitely do something about it. They should definitely regulate it more strictly, because when we leave the companies to self-regulate, we know that they won't self-regulate. They don't necessarily do what is in the interest of the customer, in the interest of the gamer. They're there to make their money back on their investment.
Gaming is still a big part of Leanne's life, but she says breaking her addiction helped everything.
You can't I think I have more fun gaming 1 to 3 hours a day than like 7 to 8 hours on end. I've achieved a lot more this year than I have the past 2. Because I didn't put gaming as such a high priority, I found myself with having more time to do things. So academically, I've been able to push myself further, and I've been able to be more open to new opportunities as well.